This video is to honor Glittersnatch, who was wrongfully banned, and there is no reason in the world for it. Glittersnatch is not only a good person, but is the most civil, soft-spoken trip fiend I have ever encountered. I mean, even if you want to excuse all the bans of other people for trolling and shit posts, Glittersnatch does not fall into those categories. All of her posts were well written and neutral for the most part. She never insulted anybody, she never ridiculed anybody, she never added fuel to a fire for troll fests. You know, she always stayed in the background, kept to herself. But we're dealing with bullies here. We're dealing with terrorists and fucking thugs. So, there's really nothing more to say. What I do want to say is, however, that I saw the Hunger Games today, and it got me a lot to thinking. You know, I watch these movies from a third person to see how well they exemplify what we're really going through, and whether or not it's encouraging those negatives or, you know, discouraging them. And there's a lot of fascist elements in the Hunger Games. And I don't mean Orwellian 1984 authoritarian fascism. I mean authentic fascism. Hyper-nationalism plus a centralized economy that still is capitalism, but is rigorously indoctrinated by this Darwinian ultra-state. The state and the corporations meld, and it's hard to distinguish the two. We in the West are not quite there yet, but it's getting there. And unfortunately, we are way worse than any of these science fiction movies, because in these science fiction movies, it's vaguely suggested that the people don't like it, but they are too afraid to stand up. Fear is not the dominating emotion that keeps people in our modern fascism. It's the idea that they want it. They love it. They lust after it. And that's the sickening part. The most frightening part is not that people are just too scared to say anything, because if it was merely a matter of fear, it would not sustain itself. You cannot sustain people in fear. Eventually, you back them into enough of a corner where they just fight back. That's a natural instinct. But they know that. They know fear does not work. So what they use is they change what you want. They shape your desires for you to desire this authoritarian, totalitarian sickness. It's a disease. It's a disease that infects the minds of millions. And as I thought about that, I thought about the ultra-right's sentiments about how it's always human nature. Greed is human nature. Psychosis is human nature. Violence is human nature. Human nature is all about war, bloodshed, lying, cheating, stealing, taking advantage of, manipulating, until it's them. Until it's them that have to suffer the consequences of mankind's evil deeds. Then all of a sudden, we have time for police. Then all of a sudden, we have time for a military and to intervene in human affairs. But when it comes to them manipulating the land and the labor of others, when it comes to them using their whatever intelligence they might have to one-up people rather than help one another out and use our skills and our experiences to benefit mankind in general, and ourselves, of course. But no, they only use their skills and whatever they have at their disposal to hurt other people. They love it. They love the destruction. They love the famines and the pestilence. They love the third world countries having to slave away, making fake jewelry and whatever. They love the fact that little 5-year-old boys and girls don't get enough to eat and have to work 16 hours a day for fucking pennies. They love it, because if they didn't, they would say something and then they would do something. So what I'm saying here is that we, as the moral people, have to use our principles above theirs. Evil is the dominant force in this world, that is no doubt. But we, as the chosen people of Yahweh, the Lord God, have to find it in ourselves to muster up the emotional force to combat them. And I don't believe in peace and love and all that other new age bullshit they've come up with to keep you docile. I believe in equality. I believe in fairness. I believe in mercy. I believe in compassion, remorse. But I do not believe in peace and love. I do not believe that people will instinctively get along. And I do not believe that people are inherently good. Only that we have the potential for good because we are sentient beings capable of more than basic instinct. But 9 out of 10 times, we will always regress back to a more primitive, barbaric practice that makes animals look like fucking saints. So what I have here is for educational purposes only. So don't go saying that I encourage this to happen. But I am preparing you. I am giving you some knowledge that I have withheld as of now, but am going to share with you. DDoSing someone is very simple. All it requires you to do is go to your command prompter, type in CMD, then press ping, type in ping, and then put the website address, let's say 4chan.net for example. So you go to CMD, you type ping, and then 4chan.net. You will get their IP address. When you get their IP address, if you look at it closely you will see it, you then type ping, and then put in the website address, plus T, make sure space, plus T, then space again, no wait, not plus, minus T. Yeah, you put space, then minus T, space, minus L, and then space, 65,500. You don't have to put 65,500, but that's the max amount. So it's that simple. Once you do that, it will, when you know you've done it right, when it says that the ping keeps timing out, it'll just keep going down, 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 and it'll say ping timeout, but it will tell you in the milliseconds how much bandwidth it's taking up. Essentially what this does is it backs up traffic. It's as if to put hologram cars on the road, and it's slowing down the traffic behind them. It's artificially creating, you know, people. It's artificially creating people going to the website that aren't really there, but it's building up space, which in turn slows down everything and eventually makes the site crash. Now mind you, I am not encouraging you to do this alone, because not only would that be incriminating to you, but it's not very effective to do it alone. That's why Anonymous and shit hack in droves. I don't know how many exactly it would take, but I'm just telling you that doing it on your lonesome will probably not amount to a whole lot. At best, you might be able to slow down the website. You will need many people backing you up. And that's probably not going to happen for most websites. It should happen for most websites, but it probably will not. You know, I don't understand why Anonymous is wasting their time busting the chops of little girls in Scientology and not worrying about fucking Facebook that has no respect for our rights whatsoever, or even YouTube, you know. So whatever. But that's the truth. That is how they do it, and now that you know, you are more prepared for when these bullies attack you. I've equipped you with knowledge that has made you a better person. It has, you know, made you feel better about yourself, and now you feel more at ease in how this shit works. I cannot, you know, prepare you for everything. I cannot tell you everything. I don't know everything. But I feel like I should have told you this a long time ago. I feel like if I don't tell you this, then I am not doing my part for humanity. Because, you know, it's wrong. Everything is wrong. The way our society functions is wrong. The way people generally act is wrong. And, you know, in real life, I actually get along with pretty much anybody. I find people just are friendly enough, and you say hello, they say hello back. A lot of them are paranoid. They're afraid to meet new people and socialize and, you know, build those relationships. But that's something I think's been ingrained into us. I think we've been taught to hate each other. That we've been taught to think that everyone is some kind of creep or loser or rapist or prowler. And that's not really the case. Not so much because people couldn't be that, but because most people are just not dedicated or smart enough to be. Most people are not equipped enough to be the criminal element that we fear so much. But a lot of it is saturated on the internet. And what bothers me isn't so much that it's all there, and then it affects the internet, it affects my experience on the internet, it affects your experience, but it bothers me because this is the true nature of man. These are what people, this is the feelings behind people, behind the fake smile, behind all the kind words. This is what really people are thinking about, and that affects our life, because if this is their true thoughts, then this will vicariously affect real life, because it's going to affect how they partake in things, it's going to affect their job, it's going to affect their relationships, and that's why I'm bringing this to your attention, because life shouldn't be like that. Life shouldn't be all these struggles and all this bullshit. Life shouldn't be where you have to scrounge at the bottom for the mere morsels that you can get a hold of. I should not have to beg and plead to fucking post at a forum. Glittersnatch, of all people, should not be getting banned and slanderized and treated like fucking garbage. I should be able to go where I want, when I want, and so should her, and so should any of you. And all the people that don't understand that are evil. That's it. There's no other explanation. There is no reason to what they do. There is no limitation to what they do. All they understand is evil. They are too evil to comprehend the fact that the law does not exist to punish people. It exists to protect people. It exists to suggest that people have rights that need to be established and talked about and validated. And that if the law exists at all, it should be to protect people from the mob and from authorities and things like that. Like, let's say, for instance, there's a law that says you have freedom of speech. That's in the Constitution's First Amendment. It is not the law's place to put limits on freedom of speech. It's the law's place to put limits on people that would want to limit freedom of speech. If people want to stop you from yelling in a movie theater, then the law should intervene and say, no, you can't do that. If someone wants to stop you from yelling nigger or kike at somebody, the law should step in and say, no, you can't do that. You can't stop them from doing that because that's a right. That's what the government's role is for. It isn't for to press hardships on people. It isn't to limit their liberties. It's to excel them. And that's something the libertarians aren't talking about. Oh, the libertarians love to talk a big game about the Constitution and about their natural rights. But then when it comes to actually validating and protecting those rights, they're a no-show. Oh, but they find time for fucking property ownership. They find time to fucking manipulate the child labor and, you know, illegal Mexicans and things like that. Then they have fucking time for liberty. But when it comes to their authentic human rights that apply to everybody, not just the property owners, not just the white people, not just, you know, some of the people some of the time, not just the people in political power, it applies to everyone, then all of a sudden they got nothing to say. That's my fucking problem. And I'm bringing that to your attention right now. And as for Glittersnatch, I'm sorry you got banned. I wish there was something I could do. There isn't, but I can't make this tribute video to you. So, Hunger Games. You just lost the game, Moderators.